Welcome to the ARIA Review channel. Here you will get to see our daily journey to our destination. Our goal is to inspire you to have a wonderful day every day.
Acres of Diamonds by Russell H. Conwell. Read by Randy Scott. This famous lecture was first published in 1890 as a short introduction to a book of the same name. This edition includes a steel-engraved portrait of the author and a colored plate illustration titled Discovering Diamonds. Over his lifetime, Conwell toured the world, presenting the lecture over 6,000 times before his death in 1925. Continuing to develop, expand, and perfect the lecture, it was published again in 1915. I will share it with you now. This recording is a production of the Master Key Society. Copyright 2021, Master Key Society. Acres of Diamonds by Russell H. Conwell. An Appreciation. Though Russell H. Conwell's Acres of Diamonds have been spread all over the United States, time and care have made them more valuable, and now that they have been reset in black and white by their discoverer, they are to be laid in the hands of a multitude for their enrichment. In the same case with these gems, there is a fascinating story of the master jeweler's life work, which splendidly illustrates the ultimate unit of power by showing what one man can do in one day, and what one life is worth to the world. As a neighbor and intimate friend in Philadelphia for 30 years, I am free to say that Russell H. Conwell's tall, manly figure stands out in the state of Pennsylvania as its first citizen and the big brother of its 7 millions of people. From the beginning of his career, he has been a credible witness in the court of public works to the truth of the strong language of the New Testament parable where it says, "If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." As a student, schoolmaster, lawyer, preacher, organizer, thinker, and writer, lecturer, educator, diplomat, and leader of men, he has made his mark on his city and state and the times in which he has lived. A man dies, but his good work lives. His ideas, ideals, and enthusiasms have inspired tens of thousands of lives. A book full of the energetics of a master workman is just what every young man cares for. 1915. His yoke fellow, John Wanamaker. Acres of Diamonds. Friends, this lecture has been delivered under these circumstances. I visit a town or city and try to arrive there early enough to see the postmaster, the barber, the keeper of the hotel, the principal of the schools, and the ministers of some of the churches, and then go into some of the factories and stores, and talk with the people, and get into sympathy with the local conditions of that town or city and see what has been their history, what opportunities they had, and what they had failed to do. And every town fails to do something. And then go to the lecture and talk to those people about the subjects which applied to their locality. Acres of Diamonds, the idea, has continuously been precisely the same. The idea is that in this country of ours, every man has the opportunity to make more of himself than he does in his own environment, with his own skill, with his own energy, and with his own friends. Russell H. Conwell. Acres of Diamonds. This is the most recent and complete form of the lecture. It happened to be delivered in Philadelphia, Dr. Conwell's home city. When he says, right here in Philadelphia, he means the home city, town, or village of every reader of this book, just as he would use the name of it if delivering the lecture there, instead of doing it through the pages which follow. When going down the Tigris and Euphrates rivers many years ago with a party of English travelers, I found myself under the direction of an old Arab guide, whom we hired up at Baghdad, and I have often thought how that guide resembled our barbers in certain mental characteristics. He thought that it was not only his duty to guide us down those rivers and do what he was paid for doing, but also to entertain us with stories curious and weird, ancient and modern, strange and familiar. Many of them I have forgotten, and I am glad I have. But there is one I shall never forget. The old guide was leading my camel by its halter along the banks of those ancient rivers, and he told me story after story until I grew weary of his storytelling and ceased to listen. I have never been irritated with that guide when he lost his temper as I ceased listening. But I remember that he took off his Turkish cap and swung it in a circle to get my attention. I could see it through the corner of my eye. But I determined not to look straight at him for fear he would tell another story. I did finally look, and as soon as I did, he went right into another story. Said he, "I will tell you a story now which I reserve for my particular friends." When he emphasized the words particular friends, I listened. And I have ever been glad I did. I really felt devoutly thankful that there are 1,674 young men who have carried through college by this lecture, who are also glad that I did listen. The old guide told me that there once lived not far from the river Indus an ancient Persian by the name of Ali Hafed. He said that Ali Hafed owned a very large farm, that he had orchards, grain fields, and gardens, that he had money at interest, and was a wealthy and contented man. He was contented because he was wealthy, and wealthy because he was contented. One day there visited that old Persian farmer, one of these ancient Buddhist priests, one of the wise men of the East. He sat down by the fire and told the old farmer how this world of ours was made. He said that this world was once a mere bank of fog, and that the Almighty thrust his finger into this bank of fog and began slowly to move his finger around, increasing the speed until at last he whirled this bank of fog into a solid ball of fire. Then it went rolling through the universe, burning its way through other banks of fog, and condensed the moisture without, until it fell in floods of rain upon its hot surface, and cooled the outward crust. Then the internal fires bursting outward through the crust threw up the mountains and hills, the valleys, the plains and prairies of this wonderful world of ours. If this internal molten mass came bursting out and cooled very quickly, it became granite, less quickly copper, less quickly silver, less quickly gold, and, after gold, diamonds were made. Said the old priest, "A diamond is a congealed drop of sunlight." Now that is literally scientifically true, that a diamond is an actual deposit of carbon from the sun. The old priest told Ali Hafed that if he had one diamond the size of his thumb, he could purchase the county. And if he had a mine of diamonds, he could place his children upon thrones through the influence of their great wealth. Ali Hafed heard all about diamonds, how much they were worth, and went to his bed that night a poor man. He had not lost anything, but he was poor because he was discontented, and discontented because he feared he was poor. He said, "I want a mine of diamonds." And he lay awake all night. Early in the morning he sought out the priest. I know by experience that a priest is very cross when awakened early in the morning, and when he shook that old priest out of his dreams, Ali Hafed said to him, "Will you tell me where I can find diamonds?" "Diamonds? What do you want with diamonds?" "Why, I wish to be immensely rich." "Well then, go along and find them. That is all you have to do. Go and find them, and then you have them." "But I don't know where to go." "Well, if you will find a river that runs through white sands between high mountains, in those white sands you will always find diamonds." "I don't believe there is any such river." "Oh yes, there are plenty of them. All you have to do is to go and find them, and then you have them," said Ali Hafed. "I will go." So he sold his farm, collected his money, left his family in charge of a neighbor, and away he went in search of diamonds.